Thanks a lot, bitchy people. And speaking of bitchy people, good morning. We're doing another morning show here on Sunday, which is irrelevant to you because you'll listen to this whenever I put it out, which is probably Monday. So good morning, Monday people. We're starting our week off. We got to make sure we're doing it with the right mindset. Last night I took some shrooms. Because I was having trouble with the theme this week. I'm going to jump right into the theme and then I'll kind of explain. So this theme this week is, if you could ask a higher being one question, what would it be? And it's limitless, so that's the problem. Yeah. I'm a very indecisive person. So for me, I really was trying to put myself in a situation, or not situation, but I guess mental state where I could figure out, what kind of question I'd ask. Because I just kept going through all these things, and I just kept thinking, man, like, it can't be a question that I could obtain the answer for even within 100 years, because it needs to be something that's out of my mind, out of my mental capacity. Otherwise, it's a pointless question. Like, I could just read a book. I could just go Google it. I was like, that was the other issue, is like, are you going spiritual? Are you going, supernatural? Or, what are you doing? Yeah. So I really wanted to put myself in a fragile state and see if I could figure it out. And of course it didn't work. I felt good and I giggled and I watched a really good show for like 4 hours. But
what show did you watch?
Me and Steph are really addicted to this new it's not really new, but it's called The Good Fight. And it's a law show on CBS, which I think is Paramount Plus. Really good show. Yeah. Though. They're lawyers. I love lawyer stuff because I love to argue. But
whatever cousin Beanie.
Huh?
Whatever cousin Beanie.
Yeah, exactly. My cousin Vin. Dude, exactly. So it's interesting because it's not just like a typical TV show lawyer shit. I mean, it is, but they're pretty smart and clever with the way they write the show and how they use the legal stuff. At least they make it seem like they use it cool, because I don't know. I'm not a paralegal. But,
yeah. I've been watching on Netflix. Oh, wow. Talk much today. I was watching on Netflix Sweet Tooth, actually. That's like a new one that came out maybe like a week or two ago.
That sounds familiar.
But the premise is that like some virus comes or something comes into Earth, and then
hybrid kids.
Hybrids kids. Exactly.
Gotcha. Sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good. I can't remember who's the main character. Like, he looks so familiar.
The little kid.
No,
he's like the deer one.
No, well, not the deer kid, but like the other your character.
It seemed like an interesting premise.
The black guy. Black guy there's no way around it.
Well, I mean, I was at a barbecue yesterday, and I was explaining something, and I just told Tom, I'm like, I just profile people. That's what I do.
Yeah.
Sake of a story, sometimes it matters. You're painting a picture, Danny, so we need color in our picture.
That's true.
Right? And there's nothing wrong with it. It's how you present the information.
Because this world is not black and white.
Nope. I mean, if it was, I'd still be okay, but...
it might be. Oh, okay, now I know where I know him from. I had to look him up really quickly. His name is... I'm going to mispronounce it, but I'm a teacher, so I mispronounce names all the time. Nonso Anosi. And he came out in Games of Thrones.
Oh, yeah, okay. I was going to say he's a British dude.
Yeah, he 100% British.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm seeing him, and yeah, he came out in Game of Thrones, I believe, when like they went to. Did you see Game of Thrones?
Only like the first 2 seasons.
All right, then you're not gonna know.
No, it's okay though. Was he part of the Targaryen people?
Nah, he was part of. They go to like, I forgot what the name of this like island is. I'm sorry, Game of Thrones nerds out there. Like, oh
yeah, look at this God knows, I don't think you're spoiling anything. The whole world watched that show.
Yeah. But no, because I'm like, I forget like the places. Yeah. I'm sorry. Like, I can't even remember. Like,
you know what? If you got a bone to pick, please feel free to email us at tfthpod@gmail.com.
Yeah. No. They go to like this place where basically this character tried to steal Khaleesi's or Danny's dragons.
Right.
And he gets burned because that's what dragons do.
Yeah. Well, and
But
that was, whether that was literal or it was maybe it was I don't know. I got nothing. I was gonna say maybe it was backwoods chlamydia back then.
yeah, that's
No.
no. Good try though.
Yeah. Well, not really, but it's a morning try, and sometimes you fall flat on your dick.
It happens. It happens.
So I don't know. So I'm gonna jump into my question.
You want to go? Okay.
Yeah, why not? Let's paint a picture. Yeah. I'm a little riled up.
So let me just to paint the picture.
Yeah, go for it.
You were having trouble. You were having trouble with this question. So you said, you know what? It's time for me to float upstream, if you will. So I need to like alter my brain to really get something, because like if you want like one of those like questions, you can always read a book or look it up on
reading
Google.
A book isn't cheating, but looking it up on Google kind of is cheating.
Which I'm always looking up shit on Google.
No, that's fine, but I wanted it to be organic.
Yeah, and I think that's good. And I mean, once I get to mine, I'll tell you how my process in my brain works. But go on. I'll explain. I'll wait for my turn.
No, that's perfect, because you seem like you got way more shit figured out than me, which is the point of this, because it's not necessarily that we have a question, but it's like, how did we get to the question? I think that's the main point of this episode.
Yeah, the journey.
Exactly.
The journey.
So for me, it wasn't much. I'm going to tell you literally how it happened. Last night it didn't happen, but it's probably because I didn't take enough.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to take a lot, though, because I'm at home. Like, I really want to go on a trip, and I got to go somewhere. I can't be at home at night, because I can't even go in the yard. It's like, it's so windy at night, and I'm like, I'm not trying to deal with that in my fragile state. So I'm giggling. Steph finds me in the guest room, laying in the dark. She's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm just, staring at wallpaper." But so no, I didn't figure it out. So then this morning when I'm taking a shit, I decided, you know what? Now is the time. And this is the question I came up with.
What's up?
What is next for me? And by that, since it's kind of vague, is, what's my next move in life?
Okay.
I definitely feel like that's not an answer we ever have. It's an answer we figure out after the fact. So I thought that's kind of cool, and that could at least guide me correctly. Because it could mean so much. It could be my next move for my family. It could be my next move for my career. I don't even mean that. I just mean, like, what's my next move for me?
Like what's
to be a
next
successful
in
human
life
being.
for you?
Yeah.
Like, what's next for you?
It's not monetary. Yeah, exactly. Like, what's my next move I need to make? So
who would you ask this to?
Well, that's the thing. I don't feel like, if you have an answer, that's awesome. But I feel like you don't need an answer for that either, because we don't even know who that is.
That's true.
In your mind, though, I feel like if you have an idea of who it is, I say go for it. It's just, for me, I guess in my heart of hearts, it's some form of entity that, let's just say what I believe in. I guess my mortality and what I believe in, right?
Yeah.
I want to believe that we do go to a place where it's similar to like St. Peter's. It's not really a gate, but I do like to think there's a gatekeeper, and then I do like to think like you go see the boss. Who the boss is, I don't know. Could be a woman, could be a man, could be a pile of dust, dude, because to be honest with you,
just some sort of energy ball or something.
That's what I mean. It could be the fucking good guy. What's his name? The dude from fucking Power Rangers?
Oh, Sordon? Sordon?
Who's the dude in the tube, though?
What's his name? No, Sordon?
Yeah, okay. Who's the guy with the weird head? It talked weird. Hey.
Oh, yeah. Alfalfa or something, or Alpha?
Alpha, there you go. That
Alpha,
fucker.
yeah.
I thought that's what you meant.
Robot.
Alpha.
Yeah.
That'd be hilarious if God was Alpha. You know what? Just send me to hell.
Really?
I changed my mind.
This is why millions of people have freaking died for like the past thousands of years. Yeah, fuck. Fine, I guess.
I fed starving children for this.
This is what I get.
You out your good deeds. You're like, you only did them for yourself.
What was I was when I was thinking about this question, I kept on like I want to say it's from Family Guy, one of the early seasons of Family Guy, where Peter goes, "Oh, thank you, Jesus," and they or "Thank you, God" or whatever, and they cut to like space or no, I'm sorry, like to heaven or somewhere else,
Yeah.
and God is about to be like, actually, and they have I want to say it was Shiva or something. He's like, "No, no, 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 it's okay, you can take credit for this one."
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's just all of this like
Oh, like he was
entities.
letting the other
Yeah,
deities or whatever like take credit. Like he's
yeah,
sharing the
and he's
wealth.
like if this person's like this entity's like, no, it happens all the time. Like no one, everybody thinks it's all God, but they're like, yeah, and it's okay, fine, take the credit for this one too. So I always laugh about that, dude. But no, I think that's a good question because like you you always wonder like, well, fuck, did I peak? Like,
Yeah.
there's been so many times in my life where I'm like, I peaked. I relived. I gave what I had to give. I'm not gonna like, I'm not gonna grow from this. So what's the point? And there was many times in my life where I thought about that, where I'm like, I already did what I had to do. I'm not gonna get any better. My life is not gonna get any better. What the fuck is the point now waiting off to like, what's the point of waiting? So I think that's always a good question. Like, what's next? And when I went to therapy, well, I was doing therapy and still am. It was like, well, write down what your goals are.
Yeah.
Like, write down what your goals are. It doesn't have to be like something ridiculous. It can be something like, well, I'm gonna walk 5 miles this week, or I'm gonna. Well, what the heck was that?
It
Oh,
might have been
Facebook
me.
report. No, it was me. It was telling me how much screen time I've been using this week.
You're using your 4G. I'm just kidding. It's
Yeah,
5G now.
I'm still
Fuck.
haven't been upgraded to 5G, but it's okay. So yeah, I think those are like setting goals. I think,
Yeah.
and in a way, it's very like empowering because in a way, rather than putting your hands or your life or your future or whatever on something out of your hands, you're kind of taking control. It's like, okay, this is what's going to be next for my chapter.
Right.
Making sure my kids go to kindergarten or
Hmm.
preschool. You know, get a new car, going on that family vacation, going and tripping on shrooms up in the mountains with
Yeah.
and so in a way, you are your own god.
Yeah.
When you do that because you're just writing down, you're creating your own chapter. So whenever you feel like you're not really like a lot of people are like, "Oh, manifest it," speaking to existent and manifest it. I'm like, well, yeah, you can speak it, but you have to also put in the work. You have to do it.
Yeah.
Um, so I feel like by doing that, you kind of have an idea of where you want to go. You kind of have an idea where your next chapter was next for you.
Hmm.
And if it's just like, hey, retired, then you know what? You start saving money towards retirement.
Yeah.
You know, and it's great because what I've noticed is whenever I was feeling down and like not feeling like I was successful or anything, I'll look back and all I did. So I'll see like my list of things I done. I'm like, well, you know what? I accomplished 3 of the 10 things I want to do today or this week. Not the best, but you know what? It's a step in the right direction.
Hmm. And then next week you got a goal to do better. So
Yeah, exactly.
that's awesome. I need to look at it like that too. It's been this episode has given me a lot more perspective on a couple things. And you brought up something when you were talking about the last what you were just saying that really
Mhm.
stuck with me was, and I totally agree with it, is that you said, like, time, your time runs out with certain things,
Yeah.
like it's run its course kind of thing, right? And I
Mhm.
feel like that with relationships. I feel like we have our good ones, we have the ones we can keep forever. But
Yeah.
then I think sometimes with our expectations, which is once again managing expectations, um, I feel that we put pressure on these relationships in our lives because it's what we want, but it's not necessarily what we need. And
Mhm.
we want, everyone wants a million friends. The thing is
Yeah.
you don't really need that. And the thing too is, like, I feel like you have your core, right? People, but
Yeah.
then, like, just be happy with your core, and then put in effort in relationships, but don't assume that they're just going to be like, like, I guess what I'm trying to say is every relationship I feel like has like a time span.
Yeah.
And whether it's 40 years or 3 weeks, I
Mm.
feel like you can't extend those because it's like both people have to want it. And
Yeah.
I've noticed as I've gotten older, people grow apart. We change, you don't realize you change as a person. You think everyone else is changing,
Yeah.
but you're changing as well. So, people grow apart, and that's what I'm dealing with. It's like managing my realistic view on that, which is
Yeah.
don't take it personal when people don't want to come around anymore. It's just they're doing their thing and you're doing yours, and sometimes those paths just aren't going to cross anymore, and it's nothing bad. It's just part of life.
I think it's funny. I was just having this conversation with somebody last night on my drive back from home. I was talking to my buddy Josue and my buddy Raymond,
Mm-hmm.
nice little mutual friend right there. And I'm like, I think as we get older, my buddy Josue, he's about to have a kid. He's gonna have his first child
Fuck
like
yeah,
in the end of the
congrats,
month.
dude.
Yeah, congrats, dude. Super excited. He was one of the guys who were gonna go Mexico City with me, but the missus is pregnant, and he'll probably get murdered if
Yeah,
he
you
leaves
you
the missus.
you can't
Yeah,
fuck that up.
yeah, you can't. And I'm like, and I even told him like, I'm not even mad, bro. I'm just like, I'm not even disappointed. I'm just like, I really want to share this experience with you
Yeah.
guys, but it is, this is much better,
Hmm.
So, um, but like I was telling him, like, dude, like people also need to understand, like, we're getting older, we're getting married, we're buying homes, we have children. You cannot be the single person that you were in your 20s. Like, you have priorities now. You have to take priority of your kids, you have to take priority of your wife, you have to take priority of
Of
making
yourself.
sure of yourself and your house and
Hmm.
everything. That responsibility, like, so you can't get hurt when you ask somebody like, hey, let's go grab a beer, and like, oh, I can, like, okay, cool. Like, it is what it is. You can't be, I'm like, oh, I thought we were friends. Like, that's such a shitty ass move. Like,
Oh, terrible. The guilt trip.
calling somebody, yeah, the guilt trip. And then, like, as a friend, also, you also need to acknowledge, like, well, you know what? Coop is, it's this weekend. He got his two boys. I'm not gonna expect Coop to drop everything and then come over. Like, you have to understand, like, no, they're busy. Things have to be planned out ahead of time. Out of respect. And I think that's one problem with friendships, that um we think like nothing changes. We think that everything will be the same like we were in the early 20s without a care or anything. But now we're older and we have more responsibilities. We have to acknowledge that this person is changing and that they have different priorities now. And you have to, as a friend, you have to acknowledge that and accept it and cherish the time. And if it, if you never end up talking to this person again or something, like the I saw this once on like online, and it really helped me get through my past relationship. It said, don't be sad because it ended, be glad that it happened.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck, dude, that's a way different perspective of taking, of seeing things. Like, don't be sad that you're no longer with this person, or your relationship or friendship with this person is not strong. Be happy that it happened,
Hmm.
that you guys shared. And you never know, dude. Like, I went for like maybe 3 years without talking to some of my best friends from high school,
Yeah.
who are my brothers and stuff. Like, I went on for like 2 or 3 years, and then last year out of the blue, like, hey man, come over to Modesto, we're all swimming, and it was the fucking greatest time ever. Like,
Hmm.
we were all there. We just, like, yeah, we all kind of grew up and did our own thing, and we were all dealing with our own shit. But it was just like, you know, after like within like 5 minutes, it was like we're tapping each other's balls again, like we're
Oh
like
yeah,
teenagers.
dude.
And it was amazing. And we don't hang out every fucking day like I used to. This is the people I used to like every day be in downtown,
Hmm.
but now we probably hang out, see each other like once or twice a week,
That's
send.
not bad. Once or twice a
Yeah.
week.
I'm sorry. Every 2 or 3 weeks. I'm sorry. And not
That's
twice.
still
Not
not
once.
bad. Once a month
No.
ain't bad. As an adult now,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's very, very. And
I mean,
you
it's
know,
not
and it's
often
just
enough
like,
in your head, but excuse
yeah,
me.
not compared to like every day.
But to
Now
see,
to
that's the
like
thing
once a
though,
month.
is
Yeah.
as like you're saying, and managing expectations. You're not 18. You're not 16.
Yeah.
You can't compare yourself to that anymore.
No, you can't, because you know what,
Because you're
dude, you
always
cannot
gonna,
be.
it's always gonna be less or more or something short of your happiness, and it's kind of an
he-
excuse to dwell, I think, right?
Yeah, here's the thing that I always hated, dude.
Mm.
With one of my past relationships, she was like, I just wish you would have met me back then when I was happy, back then. Or I want to be back. I want to feel like I want to be the person who I was back then. And I'm like, you
Yeah.
can't though. You
No.
can't be that person. You can't stay in the past, because that's gone. You know, you need to look forward. Yeah, learn from the past, grow from it, and apply it to your life and move forward. You cannot be that person you were 10 years ago. You
No.
can only be the person you are
And you,
today.
and you,
So
and you shouldn't want to be, because you should
that's
always be
true.
thinking you're improving, right?
Yeah, and I mean, if you want to be the same person from 10 years ago, and what you did to redo the same mistakes that you did, to live the same
Yeah.
regrets, it's a fucking cycle.
I've seen Butterfly Effect.
Yeah. I seen Groundhog's Day.
Yeah. Fuck.
What a great
That
fucking
movie's
movie.
depressing. Just
Dude,
going through the
how
same shit all the fucking. That's almost like Scrooge, though. Bill Murray did two movies that were very similar.
yeah.
Because wasn't Scrooge? No, Scrooge wasn't reliving it over. Oh, Scrooge was reliving it over and over again too, right?
I never seen Scrooge,
Me
to be
neither,
honest.
actually, fully. But I just know he's like a TV exec. See, Talking Out of Your Ass 101, starring
Yeah,
Ryan
there you go.
Cooper.
Hey, fake it till you make it, buddy.
Oh, I'm already doing it. Hey, but I should make a segment on here.
Yeah.
Fake it till you make it. No.
Hey, no, but like it reminds me of like Groundhog Day. It reminds me of like a Twilight Zone episode.
Right.
Like reliving the day over and over. At first, you're like, what the fuck? And then you're kind of like, this is depressing. And then towards the end, you're like, okay, I can be horrible about reliving the same thing over and over, or I can go ahead and make myself better because of
Right.
this. And he did. Side note, I'm pretty sure if you Google it, somebody in like Harvard or some freaking nerd somewhere in Yale,
Yeah. Fuck you, Ivy League.
some fucking nerd,
Preppy ass.
estimated how many days Bill Murray's character in Groundhog Day
Did
relived
his
that
thing?
day. Yeah. And it came out to like he lived like he repeated the same day like at least 30 years.
Oh, dude, that's purgatory. Then that's straight up like punishment.
Yeah, I think so.
That's
It's
hell.
something like
I don't
Twilight
think-
Zone, dude. It's hell.
Yeah, that's hell. That's purgatory. Because purgatory's repetition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, living the same thing over and
Well,
over.
if
It's kind
you
of like that.
follow the Catholic thing, but that's purgatory's
it's
repetition.
like the Twilight episode, a nice place to visit, where like the person got, he had to do the same thing over and over, and he's like, he was going mad.
Yeah, dude.
But yeah, they were like, okay, well, he learned how to be like a famous piano player. Like that takes X amount of years to get to that level. Ice sculpture. They just like named it was just like a super nerdy ass shit. And
Yeah.
I'm like, and of course I'm like, huh, nerd. I'm reading. I'm like, oh, that's like, interesting. So
You know what's
yeah.
sad about that though? So you can only grow yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're reliving every day, you can't grow any relationships. Because they're just going to forget who you were from yesterday.
Yeah.
So that means like everyone you come in contact with is Drew Barrymore from 50 First Dates. Yeah, dude, that fucking sucks. You're like,
you have to stay 'em all day.
okay, I've seen you for 30 years and you still don't know who I am, but hi, nice to see you again today.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take the milk. Yeah, it's like, dude, you'd get so bored.
Yeah.
And you'd have at least 10 or 15 years where you just fucking around.
Well, no, that's what happened.
You probably
He
just
went
start
mad.
dicking around.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd be running around naked. I get that's a fun prompt,
Yeah.
What would be your freak out moment if you were Bill Murray in Groundhog Day? Would you just do the most obscene shit and then just hope that you wake up and get to do it again? Or is that the end? That's the killer though. That's the catch-22 with that whole thing is that's the thing that kind of keeps you in line, because what if that final fuck up is the one that they say, okay, well, we're not going to redo this, and here you go, here's your life.
Yeah.
Right.
And you gotta live on that consequence right there. Yeah, that's
spooky.
That's where like it gets, oh shit. And I mean, you can apply it to your life, I guess. Like, sure, it might feel like your life is repetitive over and over, but you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Is it going to be the same thing, or is it going to be something different?
And we have free will. Well, if you believe that. I believe we have free will.
Sure. Me too.
I get up in the morning and I wipe my ass when I want to wipe my ass. So that's free will.
You can thank the devil for that. He's the one who gave us free will. What was it, God? I don't know.
Doesn't matter. He gave us rock and roll.
That's true, and I like it. I've been singing that song all fucking morning.
You have, dude. You're a little Rolling Stoner today.
I like it.
I like that part. No, okay, so I'm not a huge Stones fan, but there's a few songs that I love. Beast of Burden is a great song.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, that's a good one too. The one you're singing, I like that one. It's a jam.
Let me tell you a story about the Rolling Stones in San Francisco. All right. We're it's my buddy's bachelor party. So we went to you remember where Slim's is, right?
Yeah.
Right across the street there's this bar that's like a redneck theme bar. I think it's called like Butters or something like that. Anyways, we're there. We're drinking it up. And we're like, all right, let's grab an Uber or a taxi, and we're gonna head over to like the next place.
Mm-hmm.
So it's myself, and two of my buddies, and we're driving. And he goes, "Oh yeah, how you guys like that place?" I'm like, "Cool." I'm like, they had really great like classic rock, a lot of southern rock, Skinner, you ain't seen nothing yet, that kind of shit. Like very southern,
yeah. Bachman,
yeah. And he goes, that's fine, bro. Like, I love me some like CCR and like, I was telling him all this stuff. And he goes, oh man, we're playing. He's like, oh man, do you like the Rolling Stones? I'm like, all right, I got some good songs. Like, oh, let me play you a song. Let me play you my favorite Rolling Stone song. And I'm like, fuck. He puts on She's a Rainbow.
Oh, that's a good one. It's kind of a ballad, right?
Yeah, like she comes with colors everywhere.
Oh, that's a good one. I like that one too.
She's like a rainbow, and she's like, oh, they put hella work to it. And at the time I didn't know about the song, so homeboy's playing it. He goes, oh, they put so much work on this, blah blah. He's driving, and out of nowhere he busts out fucking drumsticks.
Oh god, of course.
And he's driving and doing like military like beat to the, and I'm like,
fuck, dude, hands on the wheel, bruh.
Yeah, and I'm like, and I turned to my buddy, I'm not gonna say his name, my buddy to my right, on my left, no, right, and I'm like, what the fuck? And he gives me a look like, bro, just go with it. He gives me this like, just go with it, bro. And it was like,
Jesus.
I look back, I'm like, why the fuck was this guy like drumming and driving in San Francisco to the Rolling Stones? And I'm like, what a surreal
moment. He was playing air drums to that song?
Yeah, no, so he had like his drumsticks.
Yeah.
And he's like using his
fake drums, wheel. I should say, is what I meant. But yeah.
Yeah. And he's using like his steering wheel as like a practice pad or like a drumming pad.
Right.
And he's just like, he's doing like, he was falling along with the beat, I'll tell you. And he played traditional style also. It's just like
like jazz?
Yeah, it's just like what's his name? The drummer Bill, the drummer from Rolling Stones. He also plays that style.
Also Bruce Springsteen. Max Weinberg does like that
Max
too.
Weinberg also, yeah. So yeah, very jazz traditional.
Right.
And he's drumming along, and I'm like, you know what? At first I was kind of freaking out for like the first second or two, but then I realized he's on beat. We haven't crashed yet. Is this not the first time he does it? So you know what? Just let him do it. Let him do his thing. Who am I to deny his happiness right now?
Yeah, he's on my brakes gave out. Blast beats. Right before he hits a car, he does no brake. He just slams right into it while he's doing a dive bomb.
That's what I want. I want an Uber driver to drive me around and just do like blast beats the whole 5 minutes. Just Yeah.
I want
That'll
you to
be
drive me around with your bass hanging out your window and you playing while you're
yeah.
driving,
Oh, dude,
slapping
I'll
it, and then
be s- freaking staring with my knees or something.
you got your fuzz pedal and everything. You're ready to go. That'd be cool if you could plug it into your. I think you could do that. Plug it into your car and just be playing with your speakers. Dude, you know how much feedback you'd get though?
You know how freaking horrible it's gonna like super distorted. I'm pretty sure I
Oh,
will blow my speakers like within
plus, it's a
like.
bass, so you'd probably blow your speakers out.
Yep. 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 Yep.
Nice and farty.
But yeah, dude, Rolling Stones. Yeah, I don't know how we got here, but that was an alterating.
Well, we talked about
Um,
it because we're floating down memory lane with the music.
yeah, yeah,
But I was gonna elaborate also on hanging out with people, but I didn't want to.
yeah, yeah.
I didn't want
No,
you
go
to
ahead.
forget because you still got to do your question.
No, no, I can. We can do my
You got it
question.
on deck.
Yeah, I got
So
it ready to roll.
it's funny you're talking about spend time with your homies in Modesto, and dude, yesterday I went and hung out with Tom and all them in San Jose.
I missed it, dude. I really wanted to go,
I
man.
kind of thought, I figured, I didn't want to say anything, but I kind of thought, well, I wonder if Danny's going. Because I kind of, you did get told. That's tight, though.
Well, I didn't get told. By the
Oh,
way.
you
I didn't
didn't.
get the call. Yeah, so fuck you, Tom. If
Yeah,
you're
fuck
hearing.
you, Tom, dude.
No, but
Love you.
I picked up Ray. I love Tom. I picked up Ray, and he goes, "Hey, dude, Tom is having a barbecue." And he's all, I'm like, "Well, I didn't get invited." He's like, "Neither did I." Like,
Oh,
somebody else told me.
probably Ryan.
No, Danny, the other Danny.
Oh, Luber.
Yeah, he's the he told Ray, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure if I showed up, they would have been
Oh,
like,
dude, but you know Tom.
yeah, Tom,
I
be
don't
like,
even
oh,
know
what
if he
the.
has your number, and I'm not making excuses for the dude. But yeah,
Yeah, I don't think
he's a pretty open
Yeah,
invite
I
guy.
no, I know I can just show up and it'll be perfectly
I got you
fine.
though.
It's probably one of those like, oh yeah, don't forget to tell Danny, and everybody like assumed that Danny was gonna be there or something.
Yeah, no, I hear you. But
Yeah,
you know what though? If I'm not actually invited to something, I don't usually go.
yeah.
That's my rule of thumb too. But it was cool because it was at I forgot the park exactly, but it was in San Jose off Willow, kind of by Meridian. So it was like a Willow Glen Park. I forgot the name of it
Okay,
exactly.
River Glen Park or
That
something.
sounds about right. I've been there before. I used to live in Willow Glen a long time ago, and when we drove up to it, I was like, "Oh, we used to." I even told Steph and all, "Do you remember when we came here and I brought my
Yeah,
guitar and we messed around? Not like that, but like hung out."
yeah. Is this the one that has like the tennis courts and then there's like a huge baseball field and stuff like that?
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
yeah. Funny story. During the pandemic, everybody in my teacher colleagues, we used to go to that park.
Yeah.
It's like maybe 2 or 3 blocks down from that Safeway
Oh, Meridian.
on Meridian, and no, it's like the park you're talking about because there's a Safeway right there on I
Oh,
think it's Cherry or Minnesota.
yeah. It's Minnesota and Meridian.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's a little bit down from there. Anyways, we used to go to that park and drink there. Teachers, grown ass teachers drinking in the park like we were teenagers, and it was
It's a nice
fantastic.
park,
It is.
but you know it was cool because I was kind of worried. I was like, I wasn't worried, but I had that anxiety because I haven't seen a lot of these guys in like 2 years. So
Yeah.
it was anxiety to hang out, not because I was worried about anything. But dude, it was fun, man. Like I was talking to Aaron and Baby D and
Yeah.
Jaime and Art and
Yeah.
all those dudes. And I'm like, I've known them. You know, we used to party all the time, and it was like no time passed. You know, and
Yeah.
even Aaron's dad was there. That was cool. I always talked to him, but it was just like it was nice, man. It felt like I was around family, and I you know that's important. I need to be around those people that make me feel warm and fuzzy.
You know, we were recording an episode on a Sunday. I want to say maybe like 2 or 3 weeks ago. And while we're recording, um, our friend Jose tags me on a Snapchat post rather than Danny Luberg. So I'm
Oh,
like, hey, wrong Danny fool. And he goes, oh my bad. He's like, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, I'm recording with Coop right now. I like while we're talking, I'm like, oh, I'm recording with Coop right now.
yeah.
He goes, he's like, "Oh, come over, dude." And Jose lives like 3 blocks away from my house. He
Right.
lives legit down the street from my house.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm like, it's a Sunday. I'm all set up for tomorrow's work. I haven't seen this guy I haven't seen him forever. And yeah, I went over and Aaron was there, baby D was there,
I think
Danny was there,
was Jake
and
there?
then he showed up later.
Because I think that was the time he took a picture with Jose's guitar and posted
Yeah,
online. Because I'm like, hey,
yeah,
I know
yeah,
that
yeah.
guitar. Yeah.
Yeah, because out of nowhere, Jose was like, "You guys fucking play in the band. You guys never call me." And we're like, "Well, let's do this right now." And we set up we full on set up drums and a guitar, and Ray and I are just freaking playing beatdown breakdowns in Jose's backyard.
Dude, I know I'm on 4th of July.
Hmm.
I've been wanting, so I have a couple people over and it's pretty much just a jam. I mean, we did it last year
Yeah,
too and it was great. But
yeah.
yeah, I'm just going to get some people over and we're going to make some loud music on celebrate America's birthday.
Making
Same
noise.
shit though, dude, like just playing music, playing loud. Feels good, dude. It
Hmm.
feels good to be back in it. I'm glad you're in that band and I really want to hear more. And I want to talk
Yeah,
more about it once you guys get things outside of your Area 51 stage where you can actually talk about things.
yeah, yeah.
But dude, I feel like it's pushed me to get a lot better with guitar. I'm sure you've gotten better with bass. And I feel like our
Mhm.
mental state has definitely thrived.
Yeah, I was telling this to I forgot who I was telling this to, but I was like, man, because no one wants to be that 37. Oh yeah, still we'll go overnight jam with my friends. We play music, we band practice, but like it's not even like, oh, I want to go. We're gonna go on tour or anything because that sounds exhausting as fuck. But it's more like it's like a therapy thing. Like you go, you create. We all come from like creating stuff, so it's
Right.
great to like just collaborate, bounce off ideas, and really grow and just see where like creating music is so fun or rearranging it and then
Mm-hmm.
I think that's it's more like therapeutic if anything, very relaxing, a great distressor. um and yeah, well, I mean, at least for me, so I'm always stoked that I'm doing playing music one way or the other or like collaborating because it's not like, yeah, I can pick up my guitars, they're all like right there. I can always pick up my guitars and just start like practicing at home, but that's not really fun. I
No.
don't like I don't like practicing by myself. I'd rather go and be somewhere and like kind of just bounce ideas or even just covers, like just playing cover songs all the
Yeah.
time.
Jam.
You know?
I agree, man.
Yeah. But great distressor.
Great.
Well,
It's good therapy to be around good people and play music, but I think we've beat this bush enough. What? Let's get to you, Danny.
all right. So, when you presented me this question,
Uh-huh.
the if I can ask one question to a higher being, like what would it be?
Right.
The first thing was going to be like, oh, well, what would I ask God? You know, and I'm like, well, that's so redundant. Like it's so like asking God, why are we here? What's the purpose? And then like literally, I'm like, well, that kind of goes against my whole perspective on religion also. Like if
Right.
I'm an atheist, surprise. So I'm like, I'm not like, yeah, I was raised Catholic. I went through all the Catholic stuff, but once I'm older, I'm like, nah, I really don't like the church. It's not even the religion, it's just the church.
Right.
Um so I'm like, I remember somebody told me like, yeah, when you want to talk to God, you have to just open up the Bible and God speaks to you through the Bible.
Right.
And so same thing, like, yeah, if you ever have a question or a doubt in life, like just use your question, for example, like, oh, what's next for my life? I can open up the Bible and God will speak to me that way. But at the same time, like, I'm not gonna fucking do that because the Bible has been edited, reworded, it's been altered so many times in the past 2,000 years,
Yeah.
about 2,000 years,
Yeah.
especially, and even more with the Old Testament. Like is it like it's all lies because it's just by man have been rewriting it just to benefit their own, their own agenda. And I don't mean to disrespect anybody who follows that religion or believes in the, or I should say, but like it's a strong believer of the Bible. But again, this is just my perspective
Mm-hmm.
of what I'm seeing. So I'm like, okay, who can I ask? And I always kept on like I talked about that scene earlier about the everybody, when we think of God, we think of like the Christian, Judeo-Christian God figure,
Right.
rather than all these different religions that people seem to forget exist. So I was like, okay, well, you know, what would I ask? Like, if I was Buddhist, like, what would I ask Buddha? Or like, what would I ask if I was like Hindu? If I practiced if I was Sikh or Jade or all these different religions things. And then again, I've kind of put myself, check myself. This is all process, this is how my brain works. I'm like, well, that's religion. But the question says higher being. That can be anything. It
Right.
can be any, So I'm like, oh, what would I ask the devil? Like, that was
Yeah.
like another, like, what would I ask him?
No,
But
that's a cool. I didn't even think like that.
yeah, like I was like, well, what can I ask Lucifer? Like, why did what's the whole point of like revolting against God? Or
Mm-hmm.
do you feel like your revolt was successful? Are you really the bad guy? Because are you really that bad of a person? Because you you give people temptations, but are you really that bad though?
Mm-hmm.
But this is my process I'm thinking.
Right.
And then I kind of took it in further. I'm like, okay, what would native people say? Like, what would native people ask their beings? And they'll probably do like something similar to what you did. Do a ceremony, and then
Right.
like
That's true.
speak to them. Yeah, which is very like, you know, it's funny that you say like, oh, I got to myself in a different, mindset by, taking shrooms or altering my vision. But I'm like, dude, this is what natives have been doing for years, for centuries,
Mm-hmm.
or First Nations, if you will. So with that in mind, I started thinking about one of my friend once made this comment to me. We were talking about, Mesoamerican history. And my friend Jesus, one of my best friends, he goes, Danny, I know you since, we were 14. Like we're brothers. We're
Mm-hmm.
my best friend. As a historian, like, don't you think it's a trip that the Mexican flag kind of represents how the Europeans destroyed the natives? I'm like, well, what do you mean? He's like, well, he's all it's my understanding that in native culture, especially here in the Americas, the snake represents Native Americans, and the eagle, which is always associated with like the Roman Empire, hence Europe, is destroying the native, which is
Right.
basically what happened in Mexican history. The Europeans came, they destroyed the native land, and they grew this new empire.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, dude, I never, again, different perspective. I'm like, I never really thought about that. And then I'm like, was a trip because then what does Quetzalcoatl means? Quetzalcoatl um is a god in the Mayan slash Aztec religion. And he's believed Quetzalcoatl, that name means the feather serpent. So it's a snake with feathers. And so I was thinking about it. So I told him, just again, it's like one of those conversations. I think we're kind of drunk or something.
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably like contact high or whatever. And I'm like, well, in that case, did the Mayans and these gods, they weren't really, because if their main god is Quetzalcoatl, a feathered serpent, that's basically who we are now as Mexicans. We're a mixture of native
Oh.
blood and European blood.
Oh,
That's what
and then you
makes
could argue that's the eagle and the snake put together.
exactly. And this is an entity or a higher being
Hmm.
that people were worshiping thousands of years, hundreds of years before the Europeans even arrived.
Yeah.
So I'm like, so so I went ahead and I'm like, okay, I would love to ask them a question. So Quetzalcoatl, again, Quetzalcoatl, the Aztec feather serpent. if you downtown San Jose, Cesar Chavez Park, he's that thing that looks like a piece of shit. No other way. That
Oh
snake with
man, they gotta fucking redo that. That
yeah,
is one of the worst
they gotta
sculptures I've
redo
ever
it.
seen in my life.
Yeah, it kind of sucks,
No, it sucks.
but it says Quetzalcoatl was the Aztec version of the feather serpent god that permeated Mesoamerican mythology. Through he originated as a vegetation god, Quetzalcoatl's role in the Aztec myth expands over time. Um, but yeah, like temples all over, and this entity is all over the place. So my question, long story short, my question to him will be, were you a warning to the natives that this was
Oh,
going to be the new, you know,
oh, like the new dawn, the new era.
the new era, a mixture of the eagle, a mixture of the snake?
Dude, our questions kind of tie in together. Basically, you're saying that was their God saying, here's your next move. Here's what's going to happen next.
Fuck, dude, you're right.
Wow. It's
Yeah,
almost like I know no one's going to believe this, but we definitely did not come up with our questions together at all.
no.
Independent, completely independent.
For those who we text each other, we send, "Hey, bro, let's talk about this tomorrow." All right, and
then we just
90%
do
of the
it.
time,
Right.
90% of the time is Coop who sends me, and I'm like, "All right, yeah, that sounds good." 90% of the time. So we don't talk about it or anything like that. And for the reason we don't talk about it is because like we don't want to um it feels like it's more organic this
Exactly.
way.
You don't want to
It's
spoil the conversation.
Yeah, so for me, like I would love to ask him, like, were you a warning to the natives, especially the Mesoamerican culture? Or and if that's the case, then I am right. I'm not sure if there's books or something written about this theory that I just came up with, like in some random freaking
Oh, you just
stage.
like scripture kind of thing?
Yeah, like because it's been all destroyed. The Europeans came and destroyed everything they ever, all the
There's
history. It
nothing.
was
There's
destroyed.
no record of it at all. There's got to be
So
something, right?
no, nothing,
Nothing.
bro. The Spaniards came and destroyed everything. The only thing that was kept was by verbal history. Um,
Oh,
like one
yeah.
example, the Mayans had cortexes. They had books of their history, with everything, their religion, their everything. The Europeans came and they destroyed it. They destroyed every single thing. And now in the world, there's only, I believe, 5 of these books. That kind of explains a little bit about their religion. But this is why we don't know a lot about, what happened to the Mayans. Well, I mean, we know the Mayans are like more in Central America now.
Cover
But like
up.
what happened to like the Olmecs? What happened to, all these different native tribes, tribes that came before the Aztecs?
You know what? My conspiracy hat just twisted on. I
Talk to me.
guarantee you, dude. It's just like now. They control the stream of information. Back then, there
Absolutely.
were no newspapers. They had tablets of stone and whatever the fuck, libraries, like you said, scrolls and shit, right?
Hmm.
And that all just got boom. They're like, fuck this.
Yeah.
Like we're rewriting history,
And you know
which is
what?
fucked up because
It-
we probably could have so many answers to what we should be doing right now if they wouldn't have done that. And they did that for completely a power move. Like now you got to come to us for everything because you don't have shit.
yeah, they basically like, oh, since you don't meet our standards, you must be a savage. You're
Right.
not up to a part. So therefore, everything you ever wrote and all the knowledge that you have doesn't count. Like it pisses me off that now all these essential oils and shit. And we were talking about this like earlier, like how we drink tea to kind
Right.
of like help us relax. Our fucking people were doing this hundreds of years before.
Oh, I mean,
They
dude,
fucking
ayahuasca and peyote. I mean, that's what Native
Yeah,
Americans and Mayans were, because Native Americans are Mayans.
yeah,
They're just geographically south.
yeah. Um,
Yeah, dude.
the concept of the stars and astrology and like the concept of zero, like
Well, didn't they
how
say the Aztecs were almost more advanced than the Romans?
that's what they're saying because there
I
was straight up like
I think that's
water
what it was.
systems and everything.
It was like, when companies like go in and buy a company just to like absolve it and not even have it,
Yeah,
just to absolve the competition.
Yeah.
I bet you that's what they did. They were just like, all right, there's no two world powers. There's us. We're the intellectuals. You now
Yeah.
will all come to us for your shit. You have no scholars anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck. That's
Dude.
some
And
cut to. See, politics have always been part of this world, man. Whether
it's just
it's always going to
it's
be like
just
this.
there's always a struggle between those that have and have not, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it is. And like I always think to that Rage song, Testify,
Right.
where he goes, um, who controls the past, controls the future. Those who control the present now control the past.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, and I'm pretty sure they took that from, I forgot from where they took that saying from, like a book or something. But like, how true is that? Like, whoever controls the past controls the future. Like, hey, this is what really happened. Let me tell you what happened, our version.
Right.
And those who control right now, they have that power to alter the past, dude. So like, I've been talking like the past couple weeks to how I'm gonna be in Mexico City this upcoming week.
Yep.
And like we're staying 2 or 3 blocks away from like downtown, like the main plaza of Mexico City, where the Aztecs or the Mexicas, if you will,
Uh huh.
created their, their empire. I'm 2 blocks away from like their main building. Um, so when the Spaniards came around, they destroyed that. They took down all those pyramids, all those buildings, all those places of worship. They took it down and covered it. They're buried. They're still constantly finding stuff in downtown Mexico City because it's just been buried. And this is how fucked up Europeans were. And this is one of the things I hate about growing up Catholic. So there's this big ass temple, El Templo Mayor, the major temple.
Mm-hmm.
They destroyed it, and right next to it, legit, like 10 feet that way, there's a church. They destroyed this with the stones that was with this temple. They built this church like in 15 or 1600s,
Yeah.
and it was just like in top of everything. So a lot of these churches, the old Catholic churches in Mexico City, they're built like right next to temples, like where Mayan or where Aztecs had their temples and stuff, just to dominate. Like, hey, this is who we are now. This is if you want to be considered a human, you need to follow this ideology. And not just to say like, oh, it only happened in Mesoamerica. No, I mean, what was the news like 2 weeks ago in Canada that they just found like 300 or 200 and something kids' bodies because they were put in boarding school to make Native Americans in North America more European, you know? So I don't know.
That's
That's my
crazy.
question.
No, well, that's a good question. That's deep. I like your question too because it's well thought out because it's specific and it's definitely tied in with history and I feel like like you said and like you said in those words is like we learn from our history, and it's
Yeah.
always to me. I'm a man of information. I don't like people blocking my information. That's why I don't live in China. And
Yeah.
I want to know the truth, whether it hurts me or not. It's
Yeah.
my right to know the truth. And I feel like the only way, like what we've even done with this podcast, man, like we opened up with our flaws, we opened up with our downfalls
Hmm.
to overcome them, to grow.
Yeah.
And the only way we can learn as a people is by learning through our own mistakes and through others. And it's nice to learn through others because we don't have to recreate that misery again.
No, nobody wants to go through
And
that again.
and it's just, yeah, I did take shrooms, so I'm all humanitarian, happy still. But I just, I feel like good or bad, we need to learn from history, and we can't expunge shit because it supports something. Fuck that. I
You
want to
can't
know the fucked up shit that happened,
you
so we don't
cannot
do it
water it
again.
down.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
cannot water it down, and it pisses me off as an historian, as a teacher, as whatever scholar, whatever you want to call me, whatever you want, whatever term you want to use to boost my ego. It pisses me off that a lot of this history is watered down or it's kind of like hush, or you really have to go deep and look for into it because it doesn't fit the narrative of whatever the majority wants you to know. And it's like, dude, we teach there's a reason why we teach children about Native American interaction when they're in kindergarten, first grade. Oh yeah, the Pilgrims came, the Indians helped them, and you know, they survived, and there was peace and love. Like, nah, bro, let's be real. Like, let's talk about the Trail of Tears. Like, let's tell them how treaties were broken hundreds of times between the U.S. government and these nations, or how you purposely like killed them. How you purposely were giving them blankets filled with viruses because you know that their immune system couldn't handle the common, chicken pox or something. So you purposely were giving these people blankets to kill them.
Well,
You know,
I don't know about that. Because I think they've
no,
even
this
talked
is true.
about it. They don't know whether or not that's the reason. They're saying the main reason those people are sick and dying is because livestock. I think they've kind of debunked that as bullshit.
Well,
Because
no,
it might have
no, it
happened. I'm not
was.
saying it didn't happen, but it's a wives'
Mhm.
tale that's the main thing. The main
Well,
thing that killed people was the horses that were brought here from Spain, along with the
mhm,
livestock. They had ticks, they had bugs. Those people, native people, have no immunities because it's not geographically native to this area at all.
exactly.
So it wiped them out.
Yeah,
And they were cleaner. They were probably cleaner people. So
you
they had
know,
no chance dealing with all the disgusting. And that's what I think. I don't think it's so much malice. I think there were times it was weaponized for sure. But I
yeah.
feel like those instances are so minuscule compared to what actually
Well,
just happened unintentionally.
Coop. Let me tell you this, dude. The U.S. government they paid, and you can look this up. There's a reason why the buffalo is not the same buffalo that we see. The U.S. government um gave rewards to whoever killed buffalo.
Right.
They will kill buffalo, you know, keep a tab, and not only with that, the U.S. government will refund you for the bullets and the guns that you killed, that you used to kill those buffaloes. They even put like, we're not saying go kill natives, but if you return back with like the skull or the scope of of a native, we will give you X amount of money. So there was U.S. government plan policies that wouldn't necessarily target Native Americans, but they were killing off their main source
Right.
of food to kind of wipe them out or force them into conversion to being
No,
more
no, no. I'm not
native.
arguing against us
Yeah,
doing
yeah,
shady shit. I was just
yeah,
refuting that part,
yeah, for
the whole
sure, for
disease
sure.
thing. Because
Yeah,
I'll,
for
I'll
sure.
say this too. I don't think they're that smart. I'm going to be honest. I don't think they knew that much to just do that. There's no way. Because
That's
if they
true.
did, they would have just sent a shit ton of blankets over here before they even landed and saved themselves a fuck ton of trouble.
That's true.
That's all I'm
That's
saying.
true.
Because looking back, we can be like, oh, it's weaponized, it's bioterrorism, but it's like they didn't know what the fuck bioterrorism was back then, dude.
Yeah.
They didn't even wash their gooch.
No, they um
That's all
Thomas,
I'm
not
saying.
not Thomas Jefferson, Benjamin Franklin would would air bathe or air bath. There you go. Basically,
Oh god, they probably smelled terrible back then.
he will be butt naked in the tub, window open, and with the airflow would cleanse his energy. And
Sure.
I'm like, bro, that doesn't even, no, bro, that's in
He probably did so much snuff back then he just couldn't smell his own stink. Dude,
probably,
you
dude.
know what I heard too is the rich people wore so much clothes because it covered the smell.
Yeah,
Because people didn't bathe back then, even rich
no,
people.
no, because it was like,
There
this
was
is
no running
where
water.
like the plague also happened, the bubonic plague of Europe. Like, it was just so dirty. It was just
Yeah,
dirty. People did not practice good hygiene.
right.
Um, did you ever see the show Hell's on Wheel?
Hell on Wheels, about the
Yeah.
the railroad with Common, and yeah, I started.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
got about 2 seasons in. I'm like a 2 season fucker, man. But yeah, no,
yeah.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I liked that
There's
show.
there's this scene where it's this chief. He's gonna talk to the person of like of whatever the railroad company is
The
called.
fat fucker.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he's walking and he's seeing the campsite of the workers, and it's funny that he says so disgusting Cause yeah, that's what like he's walking, scene is so like muddy and it's just like feces is over the place, and he kind of just looks at this people like in disgust.
Mm-hmm.
This native, he's like, it's just in disgust, and again, it just shows where the mindset was of the two different. Again, this is Hollywood, but you
It's true
know,
though.
in one hand, you have um this company that's just trying to make money, you know, and fuck the earth or whatever. Just we're here to make money. There's enough resources for that. And then there's other perspectives like, no, you cannot destroy the earth. You cannot do this to the earth because it's going to take it back. So it's just like the
Right.
two clashes of like of
Culture.
cultures.
Yeah.
And just like the same way, I'm pretty sure Europeans will go to like native, native cities or something, or as campsites where native people be and be like, oh, look at these people, like that's what they call their homes. This is what they eat. This is what they wear. Like it was just two different clashes of perspectives.
Well, yeah, and like you said, I think, and I believe that it's not like we have video footage of back then, but I
Yeah,
think, dude, it's like they were tourists, man. If you think about it, like they were treating it like this ain't our place, so fuck it. We'll throw our shit on the
exactly.
floor. We don't need to dig a hole to take a dump. We'll just throw it in the street.
Yeah,
Yeah, dude. I mean, that's the thing, and that's the way the natives were. Is like they just respected the land because they lived off of it. It was their home.
yeah,
So
yeah,
it's like when you live in your house, you're not just gonna throw shit on the wall. So,
yeah,
but yeah, no, it's
yeah. I think that's a good point right there.
and I'm not defending Europeans, dude. Fuck them. But I don't know. Definitely not defending Europeans. There's not much to defend.
No, and before like you think I'm gonna get my high horse and be like, oh, white people are evil, which they are, but
No, they are.
that's besides the point. There is some good things that came
Like what,
from this
Danny? Like
trade.
what? Cristiano Ronaldo? No, I'm just kidding. He's Portuguese.
Yes, exactly.
For
No,
some reason, I thought he was Spanish, but that's because I think he plays for Madrid, right?
he used to. Now he plays for Italy.
Oh,
Yeah, but we got cows. We love to barbecue. We got.
hey, the great state of Texas would be pretty sad without cows.
What's funny? This is gonna derail whatever the fuck we're talking about, but
Derail, nice segue.
yeah, you like that. We we sometime during the week I posted this meme that said that Tijuana had the best tacos in Mexico, and it created like World War fucking 3 in the Twitter community.
Yeah,
People claiming Mexico City,
of course.
Guadalajara, all these different places. I got called out, several times. Or like, bro, do you even go anywhere besides Tijuana? Have you been to like? He starts naming all these places, and I'm like, yeah, I've been to all those. Like, obviously, you don't fucking follow me.
Yeah.
And they're like, bro, do you even go Mexicali? I'm like, oh, you mean like the taco stand, right? And I started naming streets, and he goes, oh, okay, like people were just calling. It was horrible. But
People
one of
are
my
so
friends,
bitchy. Yeah.
yeah, it was just like, oh, I'm defending my turf
Yeah.
right now. So
Yeah.
somebody goes in there and he tried to bring up something from like he gave his opinion and somebody goes, oh, I know your Texas ass ain't freaking talking right now. He's like, don't even get me started with the state of Texas. And then they turn to, why does the state of Texas has the worst Mexican food if it's like next to Texas? And it
I mean next to Mexico.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Next, yeah, I'm sorry. Texas think they're next to Texas. No,
well they are,
but they're next to Mexico, and it created this whole thing. And then my friend Eric goes, he's like, I know I'm gonna get killed for this, but Texas barbecue is not that high in the barbecue. Like Kansas City, North Carolina.
I've heard KC, dude, over a lot. I keep
heard
hearing
KC
that
also.
Too. I keep hearing that.
And legit, it's funny because 2 days later on Facebook, somebody posted a meme about how like Texas barbecue, like they want is a meme. I posted it also up. I'll send it to you right now. Actually, let me text it to you right now.
Perfect.
Because it's just like it went along with everything. So yeah, the state of Texas would suck without cattle, but would it really? Because they apparently don't know what to do with the cattle.
Hey, now I know you're just talking shit.
Okay, yeah, maybe
you are,
maybe,
but because I'm not. They make good brisket. Beef brisket's delicious.
Yeah, you know what though? Yeah, okay.
That's a giant state. I'm gonna
Yeah,
say something. I've never been to Texas, but it is geographically a landmass unlike any other besides Alaska. So it's like huge for the United States.
yeah,
But I've also heard the same thing. Like I've heard people say KC's better. I haven't been to KC either. I need to get my ass out there, and we need to
yeah,
do an actual. We need to do a Tales from the Head food tour
yeah.
where we settle this dispute. We do vlogs, and we got to do this because we're both foodies,
We
and
love food.
it would be a fun little tour.
Mira, I've been, you know this. I was ready to move to Texas.
Yeah.
With the ex, and um I've been to El Paso and I've been to San Antonio. San Antonio food way better than El Paso. Actually,
Yeah.
the city of San Antonio is I personally liked it better than El Paso. Um, and then in San Antonio, I had a pretty good steak before, and I had a pretty good brisket. Again, I'm a fan of barbecue, so as long as there's brisket, but I haven't been in KC. I haven't been to North Carolina, so I don't know about like how their barbecues over there. So I think we do have to, out of like respect, if we're gonna badge on
Oh,
Texas,
100%.
we have
We
to.
got to have our
Just
own opinion on it. You can't just
yeah,
be like, you know.
and it might be just the California person in us, unfortunately, that we just like for some reason I don't know why Texas is like the rival of California. You
Well,
know,
it's politically.
yeah, it is political.
People that want to like be on Team Cali politically, yeah, I get it, but I don't understand that shit.
I don't get it.
Cuz
So,
geographically, I mean, don't get me wrong. I do look down on states like New Hampshire and Vermont. That's just how I am. But
okay.
I look down on those states politically the same way people look down on Texas.
Okay.
They're not interesting to me.
Yeah.
Some people are like, "Oh, Texas is too much this way." For me, I'm just like, "Eh." I look at So Texas is weird because even if you don't agree with their politics, I appreciate the Texas demeanor and mindset because it's fuck you, we do our thing. And I 100% back that completely. Because I feel like everyone should do that regardless of your political view. You should be fighting for that because everyone should be able to do and think how they want.
Mm-hmm.
But, problem with us is human beings are very culty, and we want everyone to agree with us, and we want everyone to conform to what we believe. So that's why shit doesn't work. But I appreciate the gung-ho-ness of Texans more than like the northeast people that are kind of just like, in my opinion, and I'm totally stereotyping these people, Hampton-ish people, I should say. So I'd rather deal with the spit on your shoe Texas cowboy than the Bernie fan that wears fucking Birkenstocks with socks. I don't know, dude. I'm just being an asshole. But that's the flip side, right? I feel like most California people hate the rednecks, and I'm like, but maybe it's because I'm part redneck. I'm like, hey, give him a chance. But I feel like, I don't know, a lot of my Mexican bros are with me on that because rednecks and Mexicans are, the racism is the same too. But there really isn't much difference, dude. There really isn't much difference besides geography between rednecks and Mexicans.
It may be the music.
Rodeo, dude, barely.
The
mean,
rodeo, the drinking, the
only reason
grilling.
I would say the music now is because the country music scene is so watered down and poppy.
Yeah.
And yeah, you could argue that with some Mexican music, but no, it's pretty traditional still. They stuck to the roots of that music.
You know what's funny? I told one of my students a long time ago when I started teaching. He's like, "Oh yeah, I want to be a singer." I recorridos and stuff like that. And I'm like, "Hey," so I'm like, what'd be cool if you gonna listen to Johnny Cash. So he's a country singer. So he has some songs that can definitely be corridos. Like I was thinking like Folsom Blues.
Hell yeah. Shot a man in Reno just to watch him die. Boy Named Sue.
A Boy Named Sue.
He fought his dad in the bar. That's totally a Corridos type song.
Which is the song. I can't remember the top, but it's like I took a shot of like doing cocaine, and then like
Cocaine Blues.
Cocaine Blues. Yeah, Cocaine Blues.
Yeah.
Oh,
so dude, that's a good one. That's a real good one.
Song,
yeah.
Dude. So I'm like, dude, if you can like transfer those into like Spanish, like that'll be awesome. He goes, oh yeah, I'll think about it. Tell me why fucking Los Tigres del Norte did it. They did like
What?
2 years ago. They ended up doing
Which
that. They
song?
took Folsom Blues.
They covered Folsom Blues.
They
Los
did it in
Tigres del
Spanish
Norte.
because they did a special in
I
Folsom.
saw that and I watched it. They played the prison.
Yeah, they
And
played the
that
prison.
one fool played, was it guitar or accordion?
I
The
think it was
old
accordion.
guy, right? The
Yeah,
OG. Dude, that was a hell of a show. Me and Steph White. I think that was on Netflix like what, a year or two ago.
yeah.
Yeah, that was great.
And they're like,
San Jose people, right?
yeah, they are from San Jose.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty sure they all live like in freaking.
Yeah, now they live in Mexico probably, but or they were.
Yeah, and it's funny they did. It's funny because they did the same thing. Yeah, it was released in 2019,
Hmm.
so 2 years ago.
Yeah.
They did a cover of Folsom Blue, and this is what something I told my student he should do, like fucking hella years ago. It's specifically with Folsom Blue, and I'm like, dude, this is why I should have been a producer. I could have gave you a hit, but you didn't want to take it. And it's something I do regardless. I take, just because of my boredom or whatever. Like I love taking songs that are originally in English and sing them in Spanish, and vice versa. Like sing Spanish songs in English just because they're so ridiculous with the lyrics, and it's something I love to do.
And that's a challenge to translate and have it be still rhythmic.
Yeah, and still stick
Yeah.
to the theme.
Stick to the flow. Because, dude,
Yeah,
some
yeah.
shit does not translate well.
Yeah.
Like that song in Desperado by Los Lobos. Was it Canción del Mariachi, right?
Yeah, that canción mariachi.
Translated in English, does not flow at all. It is terrible.
No.
I looked up because, my honky ass, I know some words, but I looked up, I'm like, translation definitions. And it was like, it sounds so beautiful in Spanish. It goes with the beat. And you translate in English, and it just sounds like a third grader wrote a poem. And it's just like, fuck. You got to learn Spanish. You got to listen to it that way. Because some stuff doesn't sound good when you translate it.
No, and I kind of was like that with Coco. So we seen there originally. I saw that when I went to theater, I saw Coco in English. So that's how I was introduced to or was it the other way? I can't remember, but I remember seeing we bought a bootleg copy of Coco, and it was the Spanish version.
Right.
Because Coco came out in Mexico first, they're like, hey, it's the Spanish one to me. And so I grew up with Coco in Spanish, the songs, everything in Spanish. And so every now and then when like the English version comes in or comes up, or my niece puts the English version, I'm like, what the fuck? Like the songs are not like the songs are there because it has a tone and everything, but it's not the same.
Can I put you on the spot, and can you sing me the main line to Remember Me, but in Spanish?
Recuérdame.
See, that sounds better.
Tenga que, recuérdame. I don't know.
That sounds way better. But it's the R, the roll. Spanish is a very rhythmic language.
Yeah.
Linguistically. English is very like harsh and weird. It's not rhythmic. That's what I love about Spanish languages, or even just some Asian languages, that they flow,
Yeah.
And it's just like English is such a bastard language, so it's like we don't know what the fuck we're doing. But dude, yeah, no, I love, like, it's like, watching when you're a kid, and it's better to watch a movie now that I'm an adult with subtitles than dubbed. And it's kind of similar. I just enjoy the traditional emotion, and I feel like lost in translation. Kind of like the whole Bible thing we're talking about, dude. Sometimes the dub, like, is that really what he said? It's just like, how about subtitles? Let him do his thing, and I'll just read what he's saying.
Yeah, and it's just kind of like, you also have to remember who's writing this and what was their purpose of it.
Right.
And how many times it's been like altered, so. But yeah, dude. One last thing about the Coco thing, I think also it holds like the reason we're so in love with the one specific version is because I think that's what we grew up with, and that's our first time we heard it. So we had like it holds a more special part in our heart. It's like covers, like God knows how many covers we heard first before we heard the original version. And you're like, oh man, the original sucks. This cover is way better. But I feel it's just I believe it's just our biased opinion.
Yeah.
bonds for like nostalgia.
Unless it's all along the Watchtower. Jimi Hendrix
Uh,
is way better than Bob
oh,
Dylan's.
you know what? My best friend Melissa once told me. She's all Bob Dylan songs are the best when they're not sung by Bob Dylan.
Pretty much. Except for
Now,
Rolling Stone. That is one I will give to him because it's such a sad song. His voice works perfect. But dude, once again, if you listen to Hendrix live in Monterey doing Like a Rolling Stone, it adds new life, dude. It's like, fuck, this is good. Because he just didn't have a good singing voice.
Same thing with knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Like, that's
dude,
a Bob
that's
Dylan.
no, that's another one that's really good. But goddamn, Guns N' Roses does a really good version of
I
that
know
song.
that fucking Axl Rose and his little shimmer. Little...
Oh, and then when they do that little reggae part, dude, that's such a good that's a good cover. These guys were so strung out on heroin.
I know. But like, yeah, I think Bob Dylan's a great. My sister loves this Adele song. It's called like something. Fuck, dude. Anyways, Adele covers a Bob Dylan song.
Okay.
I think it's called like "Understand My Love" or something.
Mm.
And my sister's like, "Oh my god, such a beautiful song! Oh my god, Adele's such a great writer." I'm like, "That's a Bob Dylan song." She's like, "No, it's not. She writes her own song." I'm like, "No, it's a Dylan song."
I don't even know if she does write her own shit. She might.
She does. I think
not that time, but
it's just that.
Yeah.
Oh, it's called "Make You Feel My Love."
Make You Feel My Love. I mean, dude, he's one of the best songwriters ever in the world.
Oh, 100%.
So, I mean, I agree. And the fact that you could write a song that someone else could cover and make money off of, like, dude, that's, even though they took it and changed it, that's still hella kudos to you.
For me,
you know,
I love when the band takes a song and remakes it to the point where they're like, that's no longer my song.
Right.
Like David Bowie said this about the man who shot the world.
With Nirvana, right?
When Nirvana is such an iconic cover that David came out and said, Mr. Bowie, because he passed away, rest in peace, buddy. He goes, that's no longer my song.
Well, that's kind of what Dylan did with All Along the Watchtower. He started performing it like Hendrix did.
Yeah, because it's just,
he's like, fuck it.
Yeah,
that's too good of a version.
Who doesn't get a fucking pass though? I'm gonna tell you this. Who doesn't get a fucking pass? Eric Clapton.
Wait, what do you mean? You don't like Eric Clapton?
Where the fuck does he get off doing "I Shot the Sheriff"?
Oh, you're gonna hate me. I've been on the biggest Clapton kick. I love Clapton. Clapton.
I'm just like whatever with him.
I'll tell you right now, "I Shot the Sheriff." That's not even a good song for him.
No,
like it's a good cover. I'm not knocking his cover. What I'm saying is he has such better music that he actually wrote.
Mm-hmm.
Like, dude, I could tell you a list of songs right now, and you're gonna like them.
Like Layla?
No, I mean I love Layla, but I'll tell you right now. You got Bell Bottom Blues. You got Badge. You got Forever Man. Dude, you should be writing these down. These are great songs. Amazing songs. And his blues playing is just fuck.
I'm just gonna
you brought up the wrong guy.
Put this is, put Eric Clapton in.
You can do that.
Sure it's gonna be this is Eric Clapton.
But you're gonna get. I mean, you can do that, and that's true. But you're gonna get a lot of like the generic shit. Like you should listen to his other stuff because it sounds like you're sick of his radio stuff. So listen to his other shit. If you like, well, do you like John Mayer? Guitar wise,
I love John Mayer. I do.
John Mayer. I love John Mayer. John Mayer is Eric Clapton in another form. Like stylistically, they're very, very similar. So that's why I'm saying, like, don't let that little thing fuck up all the majestic awesomeness that is Eric Clapton. Because, dude, he was in Traffic with Steve Winwood. He was in Cream. He was in fucking the band with Jeff Beck and Jimmy Page, the Yardbirds. Dude, the guy is just, I'm sorry, Danny. I didn't go well with your fucking argument.
The guy, listen, my argument was, where the fuck does he get off covering Bob Dylan's,
Bob Marley?
Bob Marley's "I Shot the Sheriff." Bob just kills it.
No, but that's you just brought up too. You like when artists change it.
But Eric, I feel like Eric Clapton didn't do anything to that song. He just tried to play it. There's no.
Well, what was he gonna do with it? It's a reggae song.
Who?
how many reggae covers have you heard that aren't reggae? I can't even think of one.
No, not top of my
Plus,
head.
in the 70s, like, they weren't reimagining things. Well, that's not true. Manfred Mann in the 70s covered Bruce Springsteen. I mean, Blinded by the Light is a Bruce Springsteen, very kind of folky song. But when they did it in the 70s, they fucking made it with a synthesizer, a killer guitar solo. So, no, you're right. I mean, he could have changed it more, but I mean, it's his artistic. I guess my argument would be it's the same as Weezer covering fucking every other band.
Africa.
Except at least Clapton put out a song. Weezer put out a whole fucking cover album.
Mm-hmm. I get you. But, like, you go back and listen to, like, okay. So I just praised the Guns N' Roses for their amazing cover of Bob Dylan's Knocking on Heaven's Door.
Right.
But at the same time, I hate their version of Live and Let Die because it sounds so much like the Paul McCartney version.
Yeah, I mean, era-wise, too, they're not too far apart because Live and Let Die, I think, was written in originally, like, early 80s, and then, 70s? Fucking early 90s was the Guns N' Roses cover. So, yeah, generationally, they're not too far apart. I mean, Paul McCartney he was writing fucking... The crazy thing is that Paul McCartney was in the Beatles and Wings, and they don't sound the same at all.
No.
And that's what's cool about him is he was able to follow things and stay relevant. Mm-hmm. But like, yeah, I'm with you, dude. I agree wholeheartedly. First of all, I don't like that song by Clapton.
Okay.
I Shot the Sheriff. Kind of for the same reason. I'm defending Clapton, but I'm with you. I hate when bands want to sound like the band they're covering because just listen to the fucking song, dude.
Yeah, this is the original song.
Do it for you. But I'm with you, man. Unless it's a new, fresh take or something that sounds different, that's how I feel. It's not worth it for me then. Yeah. Because you got to add something to it. Like, a great example is the Evergreen Terrace cover album, Writer's Block.
Oh, fucking
Oh, my God. That got me into songs, dude. I didn't even know who the band Sponge was. You know, I got into Plowed. I think they covered Plowed, right?
Yeah. In the world of human records.
Dude. Great song.
And when they riff, dude.
Oh, dude, and the cover's great. Every song they do on there is great. Zero is so heavy.
Amazing.
And already a heavy song.
Which other song?
Maniac, Mad World.
What's that word? What's that?
Breakdown in Mad World was fucking
Stars also.
Oh yeah.
By Hum. They did, they done a cover of Everlong also.
Oh, dude, and I liked it and that was what 2009 or 2010. I think they did that.
Yeah, it's just like it was kind of a one-off,
but it's different, and that's why I liked it too because it wasn't just the same riff, that Dave Grohl plays.
Yeah, and I love that, and yeah, like Evergreen Terrace, like that album is such an amazing album with all the covers and like, and it's not just one genre. It's like I think the only thing closest to what they do is maybe the Operation Ivy song. I know, didn't they also cover like a No Effects song? Or I'm just
no, I think you might be right. I'm just not super savvy with No Effects.
I'm just all over the place.
I'm not hating on No Effects, but I don't know their songs enough.
Yeah,
but dude, that's what I mean. I agree with you. Like, bring your taste, add your flavor, add your spice.
Yeah.
It ain't going to taste like grandma's meatloaf, dude. Make your own meatloaf.
Exactly. That's all we ask.
But I'm just saying, Danny, don't denounce the Clapton just because of one bad cover. And, well, I'm not even going to say it's a bad cover, but you could say it's a boring cover.
Okay, you know what? Yeah.
It doesn't bring anything new to the table. I agree. But, oh God, I've gained so much respect for that man in the last, 3 years. Musically. Whenever I say this shit, it's musically. I don't know who the fuck they are personally. But he's just so musically, on guitar, just genius. He's definitely one of my blues idols, for sure.
Oh, well, I just looked up that Evergreen Terrace album. Let me tell you what jams they got in this. Okay. Yeah. They got Maniac.
Yep. And that's Sam Bello or whatever is the original person.
They got Zero.
Yep.
Which is they got Plowed.
Mm-hmm.
They got Stars, which is that home song. Operation Ivy, and the song's called Knowledge.
Oh, okay. I
Um,
think I remember that one now.
Mad World
Yep.
by Tears for Fear.
Yep. Killer Breakdown.
Yep. The kids aren't all
Oh,
right.
Offspring. That's right.
Yeah.
That was probably one of the best ones they did on that.
No. Okay. I respect that. That's your opinion. For me, it's this next track, and it's U2's Sunday Bloody Sunday.
Oh God, I forgot all about that.
Yeah, me too. Until like I'm seeing it right now, I'm like, oh my god.
I especially
Dying.
like the part where in the beginning where he's all, "Have you heard the news today?" And then he starts kind of screaming,
Yeah.
"Let's step away." God, it's so good.
On,
And then when the
it's
drums come in,
night.
and then it's like a two-step.
Yeah,
Dude,
exactly.
yeah, dude, that's sick, man. That is a good
Um,
cover.
and then there is a No Effect song, Dying Degree, and then Brave Reality is the last one,
And
which
Brave Reality. I
I
forgot
think
that
it's
one.
their own song.
Oh, that's right. I think it was a B-side for the. I think you're right. I think it was an original track put on the cover record. It's like a
Yeah.
B-side.
But great album.
Great album.
2004, by the way.
2004. God, man. Flashback to
Yeah,
high school.
fuck, dude. You want to
Great.
feel old? 2004, bro. Fuck.
So I wanted to end with a closing thought that I had this
Absolutely.
week. And it definitely pertains to what we're dealing with. So it's funny. I was thinking about how I get so easily perplexed or annoyed about things that happen to me, and basically run you through what I'm talking about. Which kind of sparked this was one morning I went to the gas station. I cleaned my windshield. Right, everything's super clean, and the irony of it is I'm drinking like a soda on the way to work. Well, I should say a seltzer, but and some of it like drips on. I'm such a fat piece of shit, but some of it drips onto my glasses, and then I'm like, the irony is my windshield is completely clean, and now I still am looking
You can't
through.
see
Yeah, I'm
so
like,
see
you fucking
shit.
dick. So then I'm like annoyed for probably 10 seconds, right? Just literally like, God damn it. And then I
Yeah.
realize I'm like, I'm mad that I can't drink properly. I need to laugh this off and get over it. So then I thought, I'm like, you know what, dude? Even with stuff on this pod, dude, like I talk about things like last episode that bothered me. Like for 3 days, I was depressed, but when I'm talking about it on here, I'm laughing.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, if it's funny now, it's funny. So
Yeah.
laugh it off, let it die, and move on.
Don't
like
let it control you.
don't
Don't let it
dwell on
consume
it, dude, because
you. Yeah.
you're obsessing about things that aren't sad. You're making them sad. You're manifesting them to be these sad things, but they're not sad because you're laughing about it. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And if you're not laughing about it, we need to learn to laugh about it because, if anything, I've kind of been in this mental state with the subject this week was like asking a question, and then it kind of gives you a lot of perspective on what you want in life and how you are. And once again, it's like, I don't want to be remembered or actively be the guy that's always upset about something. I want to be the guy that overcomes adversity, and builds strength through that and can brush it off because, not only is it more pleasant to be around, but you're a better example, So I don't want to be that shitty, oh, there's dad losing his cool. I mean, I don't mind that happening every once in a while, but it shouldn't be all the time because then you're showing your kids it's okay to just be frustrated about everything all the time. And that's not okay. You gotta have some composure, you gotta internalize some of that crap and fucking shoot it out, man. It doesn't need to be bottled up and bothering you all the time. So that was my closing thought that I had.
Right on, dude.
Jerry's final thought.
Well, I mean, you want to be a role model to these little humans that you created, that you helped create.
Yeah.
And they look up to you. They look up. It's a trip, dude. It's a trip. Life is a trip. You have your kids that look up to you. And I'm pretty sure sometimes you reflect and you're like, fuck, I'm a role model to these kids. Like, if they wouldn't see me when I was in high school, they'd be like, really? This guy? Same thing with me. Like, what I think about when I'm teaching, I'm like, I'll be like, facing the, not facing, I'm sorry, pacing the classroom, checking up on work, blah, blah, blah. and just being irresponsible. Sometimes I'll hang in the back in the corner or something, just kind of like make sure everybody's following along. And in my head, I'm like, who the fuck is this guy right now? Like, who the fuck gave?
Oh, you? You're
Yeah,
talking
like
about
who the
yourself?
fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah, myself. I'm like, who the fuck gave this guy the power to teach when he had to go to an alternative school, um, to fucking graduate high school? When this guy had to he got caught doing so many bad things in high school, and who had to almost didn't graduate high school, and who the fuck gave the power to this guy? So it's for me, it's a trip always.
Yeah, but you know what? You have life experience.
That's true, and that's what you have also.
A good mentor has kinks in their armor, you know?
Yeah,
So just look at it like that. You're war torn, man.
that's true.
You got some fucking battle scars. Doesn't mean you're perfect. Doesn't mean you're not perfect.
It's
I mean,
because I'm
we're
a
not
veterano.
perfect, but
It's because I'm a veterano, homie.
that's right. A vaquero. I don't know.
Exactly.
I guess we could say that. I guess we're all vaqueros in our mind. And tip of the hat to you today, Danny.
Hey, tip of hat to you too. And with that, let's get on our horses
Get
and let's just it's about that time at the old dusty trail.
about to hit the old sunset. It's getting dark, cowboy. Yeah. No, so thanks for tuning in, guys. Danny's got some business today, and maybe we can elaborate more on that next week.
Yeah, so well, this will come out on Monday, so follow me on my social medias, on Twitter and stuff. I'm gonna be in Mexico City for a couple of days, be climbing some pyramids, and then Saturday when I come back to San Jose straight to a fucking hardcore show, which is gonna be fucking amazing. I'm so excited for that
And
show.
we're going to need a full report. And if you could, Danny, at least take a couple videos.
Of the hardcore show.
Yeah, just, photographic evidence.
Oh fuck yeah, dude! Fuck yeah,
That'd
It's
be
gonna
cool.
a
Because
shit
I'm
show.
not going to be able to go.
Nah, I know.
If it was a weeknight, it would be so much easier.
Yeah, I'm kind of also not thinking. I mean, trust me, I'm going because it's down the street and it
Pub,
will
right?
help. We don't know yet. They haven't said where the place is going to be. They're going to announce it the day of.
Are you talking about the Set Fire to the Sky show?
No,
Oh.
that's the set. Okay, Set Fire to the Sky is not until July.
Oh, that's July. Okay, I can try and go to that then.
Yeah.
So
that's
the
with
thing
our
you're talking
homies.
about is Saturday, and that's with
Mayo Verise, Savalva, Clutch, Tsunami. There's just this
there's gonna be a
massive
bunch of people
hardcore
fucking
show.
shit up. Oh, and they don't know where
I'm-
it's at yet?
No, I mean I know, but
Oh.
I
You can't
I-
disclose the information?
yeah, I'm not gonna say.
That's
it.
okay. Tell me off
but
the air.
I think I heard. I think
Yeah.
I heard from multiple reliable resources and from people who are putting this place together.
All right,
What's it gonna
well,
be.
yeah, you're gonna be like you're gonna be like the dude in Almost Famous, the Rolling Stone columnist. So
Yeah, exactly. And
Well,
if you guys go to a hardcore show, I will be in the back, all the way in the back, or on stage next to my buddies, away from the pits, and with my earplugs.
fuck yeah, dude. And hopefully you see some people.
Oh, I know.
Well, I know you will, but I'm wondering.
yeah.
Yeah, we'll see how many
Yeah.
familiar faces.
I'm just gonna start stretching out already because I will I want to keep that option of maybe throwing down in the pit open.
I think you should always leave it open.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just I open that pit up.
Fuck this shit up. Open this pit up. Yep.
Nope. You know what? I just stretched and my elbow kind of popped. And my shoulder kind of popped. So we're not gonna be in the pit. We'll see.
Dude, just do a little stretches. You'd be surprised.
Yeah.
But thanks for tuning in this week, guys. We got a whole new episode for you next week with a bunch of updates from Mexico City and that hardcore show that's kind of speakeasy status at the moment. So
I know.
this is kind of fun. Thanks for tuning in, guys, and we'll see you next week.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
The recording has stopped.
God damn it.
Fuck.